All right, welcome in. My name is Parker Cyza, filling in for Austin the Stash today as we have the week that was with Melanie Wilkinson of JustMelanieW.com in with us. Hi, Melanie. How are you?
I'm good. I heard you say earlier we're in a heat wave, but it doesn't feel like it this morning.
No, so those happen in the afternoon. In the mornings, it's fall, like the fall-like weather, but then we're back to summer temperatures.
I know.
Which I'm a big fan of fall. I love fall. It's my favorite season. I can't wait for it, and it's just felt like summer's just been hanging on. So, but that's all right. That's all right. Some people like it. Some people are ready to go. So let's talk about some things going on around York and York County. I was interested in this because there's a new cell phone ban at York High School and middle school. What can you tell us about that? Because you talked to some of the administrators there on how that's going so far.
In the last week, I had conversations with the principals at both the York Middle School and York High School. So this year at the high school was the very first time that they decided they were going to ban cell phones. You cannot use them. Students cannot use them at all during the regular school day. And 2 years ago at the middle school, teachers went to the administration and for the sixth grade and said they were finished with allowing sixth graders have it. I was kind of surprised that sixth graders could have cell phones in school.
Yeah.
But apparently they're estimating that between 60 and 80% of middle school kids here in York own cell phones. So they agreed to ban it for sixth graders. It worked so well, they went ahead and did the whole middle school. But now this year is the first time both schools they're not allowed at all. And what they're seeing are really interesting results.
Which, by the way, real quick, they can bring the phones to school, right? They just can't have them during the actual school hour.
They can have them before and after. They have to be in their lockers.
Yep.
High school students, they can use it during a free period that there's no instruction happening. Mm-hmm. But most of them are book solid all day. So inherently it becomes all day long. So yes, they can still have them. They just can't use them or carry them around. So what they're finding, especially at the high school, is that the ineligibility list, kids that are not eligible to play sports or be in activities because they've fallen behind in their schoolwork, that list has gotten a lot shorter. What they watch, how kids are getting their assignments completed, if they're on track, and it has so greatly improved. Even attendance at school has gone up as far as kids continuing to come to school instead of having these truancy issues. I don't know if there's a correlation there. That's kind of a coincidental thing, possibly. But what they're also finding, and I find this fascinating, is that there is so much more interaction in the classrooms as far as kids talking to their teachers and responding and having conversations among each other. Also, noon hours, lunch hours are loud.
Yeah. I'm sure it's like the 1980s, 1990s again, lunch, the lunchtime, right?
Before this, it was dead silent. Kids would sit and eat, I guess, and stare at their phones.
Right, play a game.
Now they're actually talking to each other.
Yeah.
It's such a noticeable difference that the principals actually laughed out loud. I said, "Is it that much of a difference?" And they said, "It's so noticeable. It's incredible."
That's great. That's what you want to hear. I was kind of in the advent of the cell phone going through high school, right? Not the advent, because cell phones came out in the 90s, something like that.
True.
But 2010 to 2013, the iPhone started to get really big. I got an iPhone my sophomore year of high school. It was my first phone, right? I've had an iPhone ever since, blah, blah, blah. But, we had at our high school, it was similar. It was like, you can bring your phone. Everybody has phones, but not during the day. And then I feel like maybe since phones got to be a part of everybody's life, right? That probably went away in a lot of schools. Phones just started to come out. It's good to see York bringing stuff like this back because I think it just helps the school experience for the kids and maybe they might not like it at the time.
Well, first there was some pushback,
right? Of course,
and some kids. I guess this is cute. They had said, "Well, what if my parents need to get a hold of me for an emergency?" And one of the principals said, "Well, back in the 1900s when I was in school, the parents would call the school and they would get me the message.
Yeah.
And we can do the same thing."
Yeah.
And he goes, "And amazingly, that's just working just fine."
Right. Yep.
So
go to the office,
It's just a positive for everybody involved.
Very
so I
good.
thought that was something really positive that they've taken on. I wouldn't say that York is the first school district to do this, but it's certainly becoming a trend.
Yep. And hopefully a trend that continues for other schools out there. There's also a new story coming in, a new hotel coming to York near the I-80 interchange.
We're getting a 4-story, 78-room Fairfield Inn and Suites. The groundbreaking actually for the project is going to be at 9:30 on Thursday, which the community is involved can come to. Now, what's really interesting about this, it's a $14 million project. It will also include the extension of infrastructure, meaning street expansion out at the interchange. This is going to be located south of the Wendy's restaurant. So they'll extend the street. There will also be public parking.
The street to the east of Wendy's?
Yes, up in that whole area up in there. We'll have new streets and also public parking. That's not just for the hotel. This parking area will also be able to be used by people going to different locations if they want. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a positive too. And the city helped make that happen through tax increment financing. That will help the developer do the improvements. So that's going to be a plus. And that kind of ties in with the whole extension of pedestrian access in the city. That's not part of Project Access York, but it's also just an offshoot of the fact that whole area is going to become even more developed than it already is.
It's going to be a Fairfield Inn and Suites.
Fairfield Inn and Suites.
Groundbreaking is Thursday, October 3rd at 9:30.
9:30, yes. And this will also boost our total hotel room count to 750 in York now. So
there's going to be 80 rooms at this Fairfield? 78 rooms. So,
78 rooms. So that will boost more lodging, means more lodging tax, which means more revenue for visitor improvement grants. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And Fairfield Inn and Suites are pretty nice. Yeah, it's
nice.
going to look good, right? People driving across the interstate.
I saw the list of its amenities, and it sounds like it's going to be a very nice hotel.
Very good. So, that's coming to York. And when is the expected open date? Do they have one yet?
Not for about a year and a half.
2026-ish, right?
Sometime,
Yep. But it is coming here to York, a new hotel. And, of course, now we're a little over a month away from Election Day, the general election. That's certainly going to be a big thing for the next month for not just people here in York County, but across the country. But some early voting stuff and some early in-person voting is going on shortly for York County. And they're getting some interesting numbers, right?
They are. You can always expect a presidential general election to have higher interest and more participation. But there are also a lot of big local things happening, especially like with the bond issue for York Elementary School. So we can expect that there will be probably a lot more voter turnout than a typical general election. So early voting has started as far as you can have your ballot sent to you in the mail. That's right now. That just started. And Mary Melby, the York County clerk, said they've already sent out 300. So that's a pretty high number. A lot more than normal. That's right out the chute. Very first day that they can send them out. People requested them. They've sent them out, and they'll continue to do so. Now, on October 7th, you can actually start going to the courthouse, to the election office, and you can vote there. And you can also pick up a ballot and take it home with you if you want. You just have to make sure it comes back by 8 o'clock on election night, or it won't be counted. So you can vote early, or you can just wait until election day itself and go to the polls. But I just did find that was a very high number. You can tell the interest is a lot. And also there are benefits for people that are worried that they're not going to be able to make it to the polls on election day. But it also is a cautionary thing to maybe hold on for just a bit. We've still got, a month to go. There might be developments and things that you might change your mind along the way. But if you feel secure and you want to go do that early voting, you sure can.
So that Tuesday, November 5th is Election Day. We're here
Correct.
on October 2nd. So, yeah, a little over a month away. And early voting already beginning. And then the in-person early voting starts on October 7th there.
Correct.
So,
and they will help you through the
yep.
process. If you've never done it before, the staff at the clerk's office will walk you through it.
Busy time of
Yeah.
the year for that. Is there anything else? I want to get to a feature, a blog article. I want to talk about that. But is there anything else going on newsworthy here in York or York County with the community we'd like to share?
We're kind of coming off of a big busy time for our local governments as everybody now has passed their budgets. That's been a topic that a lot of boards and the commissioners have been working on for months. You know, at the state legislature, there's been a push, and there's been a lot of conversation about somehow cutting property taxes. And so that leaves local governments kind of grappling with how they're going to form their budgets, how they're going to fund their operations, and plan for the future in case they are hit with, a great reduction in revenue. That's been on the mind of a lot of people, and both of the city council and the county commissioners have really held their spending this year. The levy went up just a little bit for the county and stayed exactly the same for the city. So yes, valuations did go up, which makes a difference. But as far as spending, they've all kept it below a 2% increase compared to last year. So now that everybody has got that under their belts, they can start doing, regular work. But that whole planning for the new fiscal year is finally completed, and everybody's got everything submitted to the state. So we're moving on with a new fiscal year. So
you can, of course, find these stories and more at justmelaniew.com. A lot of stuff there, and no busy time of the year. There's also some fun stuff on your website, too. And I want to talk about the world according to Ricky.
Oh, my.
Tell us a little bit about that. Your puppy.
Ricky. Well, I have contributing columnists.
Yeah.
Like Marshall Schlegelmel, Steve Mosley, Greg Autry. And then I also have Ricky Wilkinson. Ricky is a Keyshawn puppy. He's a very talented writer. Who knew? And
it's pretty amazing. You check it out. He's got great skills. Great skills.
He's not much of a typist. So he dictates a lot of it to me. The paws kind of get in the way. So I type. We usually try to do it on Sunday afternoons, but if we get in a bind, maybe we'll do it hammered out on a Tuesday night, because it's up on the website at 5 a.m. every Wednesday morning. And so Ricky talks about all kinds of things in the world: politics, social issues, observations of the world, but from his perspective. And of course, it's his voice. And so he has, and it's his experience. And the readership of The World According to Ricky has been very interesting. A couple of weeks ago, I was really super busy, and I couldn't quite seem to get to the keyboard and type it out for him.
You and Ricky,
time.
you couldn't get there. You had stuff going on.
So 5 o'clock rolled around on that Wednesday morning, and then it got to be 11, and then noon, and I started to see that I was getting private messaging and emails from people I didn't even know that said, "Is everything okay with Ricky?" Because we haven't seen his column, and I just had to tell him he's really, really busy.
Tied up, yeah.
He's tied up right now. And so he'll get it. What time do you think he'll be done with it? I said, well, maybe about 2:30. And there they all were waiting to see it. But it's been super fun, especially people that have animals and dogs that particularly seem to like it. But then I kind of think from interaction out in the public that some people might actually believe, like they're astounded that a dog can achieve this. So it's been a lot of fun, and we've been trying it, and so he's gonna. If you want to check out something completely silly, he also has photography to demonstrate his point of view as far as his adventures and why he comes to his thoughts about the world. Today, he had a rant about how he is possessed by
The
demons.
zoomies, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, every morning at a certain time, demons enter his body, and he has some, I guess it's classified technically as the zoomies, but he's completely possessed and he goes completely insane. And he finally had just calmed down by the time I, was ready to leave the house. But yeah, so he talks about, he's very candid about his issues, and he's very open.
Yep. I saw one where he was meeting new friends too, and all of that,
yes.
meeting new people and little buddies and all of that.
And he loves York, the park. Oh, he loves the dog park, which we can't say out loud at home. We have to call it the DP, or he'll go bonkers. And he loves Foster. And then he went to Soggy Doggy, which was a huge hit at the Aquatic Center.
Yep.
So anyway, it's just something fun and silly. Our world gets so serious sometimes. And so what better than every Wednesday morning just see what some dumb little pooping, peeing dog has to say.
The world according to Ricky.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's some fun stuff there. And you can find that again at justmelaniew.com. Feature stories, blog posts like that, and news and other articles.
There's all kinds of things in there.
Lot going on. And I know, yep, go ahead.
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, yeah.
No, and there are other features too. There was the one other too that runs also on Wednesdays called the Deliciously Dirty Pages. Sounds kind of smarmy, but it's not. It's old dirty cookbooks.
Yeah,
and they're old and ruined, and I take pictures of how filthy they are from the 1970s and the 80s, and we go back and see how people cooked and what they did, and also it's just fun to share, and readers share theirs, and it's just another fun thing that's in the middle of the week.
Good stuff at justmelaniew.com. Melanie, thank you so much for coming in here today.
It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, it was. And, I know Stash, he's not in here. He was sending me all the topics. And I know you're like, well, I'll share this because you told Austin, you said, well, what if Parker thinks I'm weird? What if he keeps saying, and I said, no.
Like me. And he said, well, you're going to make audio magic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. But I said, it'll be fun. We had a great time.
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did a good job today. Melanie, thanks so much. Have a good rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.